Well, you must be a bit disappointed, Gary. Today I thought in the first half we probably shaded it. Second half it was really Chelmsford, and they scored two decent goals.
Yeah, I think we more than shaded the first half. Being fair, I think we were very dominant. I think we started off brightly, and I thought we played some good football at times. And we created opportunities and openings, and we haven't put one of them away. We had a little bit of the elements in our favour. In the first half was helping us, and I was quite happy and relaxed at half time, even though it was 0-0. I thought that we could have been in front at half time, and I don't think they could have no complaints about that, like in the sense there. But being fair to them, second half probably saying exactly the same about the first half. They didn't start where we started. They started the second half where we never started. But I think the big telling factor was that the difference between the two sides. They used the advantage of quality in respect of putting balls into area, and the quality of set plays has caused us a big problem today. It's a cheap goal, the first one. It's a great free kick by the lad Aidan Palmer, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was a cheap free kick on the edge of the penalty area which we give away.
And how much did the conditions play a part today? Because it looked quite tricky out there with that swirling wind.
Yeah, but it's the same for both sides. I'm disappointed tonight. There's no doubt about that. Not because the situation I lived very local here, but more about the second half. And we've got a situation where players have done very well, the club's done very well where we've got to at the moment. But we've always said, and I've always said, and I've always stated, not as an excuse, we know what our number one priority is. But I was looking forward to hopefully a good run in the FA Trophy, because we went out the FA Cup cheaply and we've gone out the FA Trophy cheaply, and there is financial reward, and it is disappointing for that point and that factor. But we've got a situation now that yes, we've got our league games in our hands and everything's in our hands the way we would like it. But you can't turn around as players and you can't turn around as a management team, go and turn it on for certain periods in games, and then you don't turn it on the second half of the games, because longer the second half of the season goes on, as far as I'm concerned, the games will get tougher, they will get harder, because you will have a situation where everybody does at all levels of football, they regroup and they will battle hard to make it hard for you to try and peak it back in the back. And we've got a situation now, we've got 24 league games to go, we know what we've got to go and do, and now we've got a clear week in respect of to next Saturday. A benefit in some ways, but after a disappointing second half performance, I'd have liked to have gone to the game at Dartford and had that game on Tuesday, but that's not to be now, because they turned around and got a draw today, or drawn in the FA Trophy. So it's a case of now we have to turn around and prepare properly this week for the home game next Saturday against Eastleigh.
And no Jay Davis today or Paris Cowan Hall in the squad. What was the reason there?
Both rested. Both have done exceptionally well. Two young lads, played a lot of games, put a lot of work in. Minor niggles, could have played, had minor niggles, and just felt that. And you have to turn around and make decisions sometimes. It's not in respect of how they played. Anything to do with that. As I say, they're two young promising players who've done very, very well. But mentally and physically, that gets tiring. They come a fair way to Woking in respect of where they travel from. And I just think that, I see signs in the last couple of games, and they're not the only players, don't get me wrong, of a little bit of fatigue out there. And I just thought to myself that, we had the opportunity of fetching Ben Smith to the club, which I'm very pleased about. We had an opportunity here today that to look at one or two things. We were very strong today, even though we've made 4 changes from Tuesday. We didn't, be disrespectful to the competition or disrespectful to Chelmsford by coming here and going through the motions in respect to the team selection. When I looked at the first half, I was happy, but second half is disappointing. So, as we've said to the players, where we've got to at the moment, after 18 league games and taking 43 points from 54, it's tremendous. But you move on from that. Me and Steve Thompson have got a lot of hard work to do now, and then players have got to turn around and step up for the challenge. They've got to step up for the challenge, because we're very disappointed. We're hurting as a management team today, and now we've got to prepare next week for our situation to be playing Eastleigh next Saturday, and we've got a lot of work to go through. And you're always going to have bad days at the office, we know that, but we asked the question how you respond, and we've got to respond properly this week.
And a little bit about Ben Smith. He's also a player you know very well from your days at Weymouth. I believe he was your skipper. Obviously, he's not played that many games, has he, for Crawley? So it is going to take him a little bit of time to get going, I would think.
Yeah, well, he's got a quality, Ben. I think if we're playing properly and we're working hard and we're passing the ball and we're playing to our strengths, you know, Ben's got a good football brain on him, and I'm sure that, you know, it will be a case of ear picking and settling a lot quicker than players who haven't turned around and had the quality of what he's got in the past.
And as you say, another game coming up next Saturday at home against Eastleigh. I seem to remember in the away fixture, that was a game probably that you would really have been wanting to win, and we weren't quite on our game that day, and we, you know, probably a draw was a disappointing result. So I imagine you'll be keen to put that right.
Well, I think, you know, I thought, as I say, going back to the Eastleigh game, I thought we were probably disappointed at the time when we come off the pitch at the end. We only drew because we thought we had enough chances in the second half to win it. But, you know, it doesn't matter who you play as a club, as a management team, as a squad of players. You've got to turn around and be prepared, and you have to turn around and, you know, be disappointed when you don't quite get your results, you know, and we've got to make sure Eastleigh won't be easy. They're going on a lot better now. They've got some new players in there and they've done well, and they'll be up for the challenge. But, you know, me and Steve Thompson will get our house in order this week. Hopefully the players know what we want and they know we're disappointed, and they've got to turn around and respond the right way to turn around and show that reaction what we're looking for.
Lovely. Thanks very much, Gary.
Cheers. Thank you.